happened? How did we go off track? What was it? And then you start looking for someone to blame, right? Got to blame somebody. Got to find someone for the shortfall. Well, the problem is people tend to look at what happened last week, last month, last year. They don't know what's going to be happening 6 months, 12 months, 18 months out. And that's what a very strong integrated business plan process gives you. That ability to look in the future, you have time to be in a proactive mode. Hey, I don't want to do that because that's not aligned to the strategy of how we want to sell. I don't want to do that because that's not how we want to facilitate running our manufacturing environment. You know that so that in this far right side, I understand what I can do to change things before I get there. And need it all in one spot. I need to be able to go in there as an executive and have something that tells me where we're at. Not now necessarily, but where I'm going as well. So I need to be able to look far into the future. And I need to have something very simple to be able to do that. I need something for my demand people, my supply people, and my executives. Well, let Stephen talk about the journey that they've been on, the innovation and value, not only again of new products and new business services that they offer, but how they've reinvented the innovation of their supply chain.
First of all, I think I just had too much coffee this morning after a late night last night, and she's got a lot of energy. And hopefully I will keep my energy level up after last night. But what I'm going to talk about is really more about our innovation process more than what innovation took place. And so I want to take this back a little bit. I don't know if, let me go back. I want to start with the reason we have to do some of this stuff. If you look at our products up here, who we are, managed print services, multifunction copiers, barcode systems, image software, digital signage, point-of-sale retail system, and kiosks. 4 of those items up there weren't there 3 years ago. So it is a very quick changing environment. So being able to manage our innovation, manage what we are doing is critical to what we are doing. The top item up there, managed print services, is really taking over the print output for a company. No longer do they buy equipment, they really buy a service from us, and we can manage their fleet for them. Completely different ramifications for a supply chain organization, completely different ramifications for our operational organization that is part of my responsibility. So what we have to do is figure out how to take some of our products, our strategies, where we're going, and develop the functional silos, the functional organizations, align them, get them together, and have them act as one. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Yeah. I never do, Bill. I always lose track where I am. So this is one of our processes. This is our integrated strategic planning process. And what it is it's an annual process that we follow to try to get input from all the right sources to develop what our strategic plan is. And some of you have seen this out of some of Porter's books from Harvard, but this is our adaptation of that process. So we take a lot of input, financial plan, industry, competitive analysis, SWOTs. Actually, one of the major inputs that's not up here is we take feedback from our parent company in Japan, and some of the sister companies that add this into the overall process for us to then develop what we believe our strategy is, what our strategy map is. And from that strategy map, we then develop a number of things. And this is part of what we call our strategic planning process. If you look at some of the things up there, this SWOT, it's typically done with our executive leadership team. So it's typically led by our president. Representation, sales, marketing, supply chain, operations, HR, finance, the whole group is in there as we develop what these strategies are going forward. And the reason we do it every year, checkpoint it every quarter, and then do a full checkpoint every 6 months is because everything changes so quickly. One of the items on the slide that I had before was point of sale. About 2.5 months ago, we purchased IBM's point-of-sale division. And we were, at the time, we were responsible for point-of-sale in the U.S., and we were a fairly small player in the U.S. IBM had the leading market share. We have the leading market share in Japan. They had it here. So the two companies together are a global leader in point-of-sale systems. But that completely changed our strategy that was developed at the beginning of the year. So now we have to reevaluate, understand where we're going now, and how are we going to integrate this new business into the rest of our overall business. So sometimes I think that a year is too short. Sometimes I think a year is too long in doing what we're doing from a planning perspective. And as we go through this process, we're trying to develop a strategy that we believe is going to carry us for the next 3 years. But we have very tactical measurements along the way. And you see the balanced scorecard at the bottom. I think most of you probably have a balanced scorecard of some form, and that's what we use. We have a balanced scorecard with probably 30 or 40 items on it. We have also behind this have an action plan document that probably has 200 or 300 specific actions that are linked to every organization within our company. So we know what's going on in human resources from a training perspective. We need to train on one of our new solutions. Maybe it's how we can integrate point of sale, the IBM products into our products. First thing we have to do is get a sales rep. Get 500 sales reps. We've got to get them up to speed. So all the organizations have to participate in what we're doing. Then finally, as part of our process, after we develop our strategy map, we move into sort of a key theme process. And so we will look at our strategies and try to identify what we think are the top priorities.